Nearly a year since the tragedy on 10th Street, the largest homicide in the history of the Rogue Valley.
4 children and their mother killed by a husband during what officials say was a domestic dispute. Now Tabasha Criado's father is coming out to the public with his side of the story. NBC5's Jennifer Elliott spoke with her biological father and brings us special coverage on the anniversary of the Criado deaths.
Well, Dan and Laura, Marzuq Johnson admits he wasn't the perfect father or the perfect person. He served time in a California prison for voluntary manslaughter after a gun went off in his home, killing a man. That time in prison was partly responsible for the fact he never met Tabasha Criado and his 4 grandchildren face to face. But now he's hoping to change the past by protecting others' futures.
You see?
Marzuq Johnson is an imperfect father.
I wish I could have been there a whole life.
With an imperfect past.
I ended up going to prison for 12 years.
But now, after the death of his daughter, Tabasha Criado, and 4 grandchildren, he carries a message.
And that's the reason why I'm wanting to do something to try to stop it. You know, because I can't go on taking it.
July 18th of last year, police arrived to a reported house fire, only to find Tabasha Criado and her 4 children moments from passing. Officials say her husband, Jordan Criado, stabbed Tabasha and 2 of the kids, then set the home on fire and attempted to commit suicide.
I just talked to my daughter less than 10 hours prior to their murder. I talked to her, I talked to my grandkids, and I talked to Jordan. And everything was fine. I told my daughter at that time I wanted to come out here and get to spend some time with her and the kids. She told me, "Don't worry, Daddy, it's going to happen."
For Marzuq, the news came as a shock. He had never met his 30-year-old daughter and grandkids, as Tabasha's mother, he says, left while still pregnant. What made the event even more painful was his plans to meet with her the next month for the very first time.
Everybody was excited. We were finally getting together. The next thing I know, they were dead.
However, this isn't the first encounter with domestic violence for Marzuq.
I grew up watching my sisters being raped, because this was prior to the death of Martin Luther King Jr. Nobody gave a damn about a black child being mistreated, by his own especially.
He says 2 of his sisters died because of abusive relationships. One of them, Elnora, an older sibling, murdered by her husband months before relatives knew.
They asked the kids, "Where your mother?" And the youngest one spoke up and said, "She's in the backyard." And so the person from the school went to the backyard looking around, didn't see nobody, and asked the kid again, "Where's your mother?" He pointed at the crowd and said, "She's right over there." The sucker killed her and buried her.
Now Marzuq is staying in Medford, looking for ways to help others find options before they become a victim or victimize another.
I'm wanting to do is to see what programs we have to help people.
He's in contact with United Way and works a small plot at Access Community Gardens in honor of Tabasha and the children.
I try to plant 5 of everything, 1 for each of them.
Tending the garden while waiting to attend the trial of Jordan Criado this coming February. And he says amongst his many regrets, one that haunts him, he never got to meet his only granddaughter, 2-year-old Aurora Criado.
My favorite memory was a word for my only granddaughter. She came up with her own word for me. She couldn't say grandpa. She said grandpa. And so, you know, I look at her picture sometime and I say, "Grandpa, love you, baby."
Remembering those he's lost, those he never got to love.
You're going to lose everything you have, including that body you call yourself. And so, you know, I'm grateful for the time that God gave me to communicate with my daughter and my grandkids.
Now coming up tonight at 11, we'll have the second half of our interview where Marzuq tells us how he feels about Jordan Criado, the man charged with his daughter's murder. I'm live in the studio, Jennifer Elliott, NBC5 News.